Australia's budget focuses on spending initiatives like power bill subsidies and investments in critical minerals and defense, aiming to appeal to voters ahead of an upcoming election. The government's books are expected to return to a deficit of 28.3 billion Australian dollars or 1% of GDP in fiscal year 2025, increasing to 42.8 billion Australian dollars the year after. While deficits are imminent, the Treasurer maintains that Australia holds a strong fiscal position relative to other developed economies. However, borrowing expectations are increasing and net debt is forecasted to rise. Furthermore, the government expects global economic conditions to remain challenging, particularly around inflation and labor market conditions. The deficits will largely be driven by cost of living relief and health services funding. The budget also includes measures to reduce energy bills and rental assistance to bring inflation down in those key areas. Who are the greatest beneficiaries? We start off with businesses. Green businesses can expect significant investments aimed to propel Australia into a renewable energy powerhouse, benefiting sectors like critical minerals and green hydrogen. Households are expected to benefit largely from energy bill relief extended to all households, coupled with tax cuts, which offer substantial cost of living relief. Renters will get increased support amidst soaring rental prices, but challenges persist in the broad housing market. The housing market remains challenging. There have been some initiatives mentioned targeting housing development and infrastructure with a focus on social and affordable housing, but we do not expect those initiatives to materialize fast enough. For the elderly, there's going to be a freeze on medicine costs and pensioner benefits to provide financial relief, while aged care reforms aim to improve sector standards. Aged care workers are expected to get a pay rise and funding increases aimed to address workforce challenges and improve care quality. Students, meanwhile, can expect reduction in HECS debt and funding for technical education, which is aimed to alleviate financial burdens and promote skill development within Australia. Defense and foreign affairs. Investments in defense, workforce, and diplomacy will reflect strategic priorities and regional engagements. For parents, superannuation benefits for parental leave is aimed to enhance financial support for families who may be out of the workforce for an extended period of time. Responsibilities. For cashed-up foreigners, the news is not so good. Visa changes and stricter regulations will impact international students and migration policies in the most immediate term. Net immigration is expected to be halved in 2024-25 and expected to come down further in 25-26. For backpackers, there are going to be visa caps and fees, signaling challenges for young travelers seeking opportunities in Australia. There's also going to be increased scrutiny and technology in the technology sector aimed to curb fraudulent practices and enhance service quality, particularly for the NDIS. For big businesses, limited incentives remain, which is in contrast to the sizable support for small business owners. There have been some increasing measures mentioned to target tax evasion and financial crime, enhancing revenue collection and accountability. All in all, the government's primary emphasis remains on addressing cost of living pressures, but to say the budget is not inflationary would be to deny the obvious. Today's budget will make it harder for the Reserve Bank of Australia to bring inflation down to target. The proposed relief measures, some of which are neither targeted nor temporary, carry the risk of reversing the progress we have made on inflation to date. Consequently, the RBA may be compelled to contemplate interest rate hikes with the intention of directing the surplus funds towards mortgage repayments than towards increased discretionary expenditure.